Now we're at the base of my pyramid, my little clouds. Isn't it fun? Did you guys all see me on Natalie this morning? Or actually, not see me, but hear me. Wasn't it fun? It was so cool. And since the cat's out of the bag, and yes, I know a San Francisco police officer who I've known for about 30 years now, I think. Because we used to work together at clubs. And he's a friend. So yeah, but I'm literally not doing anything that they need to worry about because they watched me yesterday. So they know what I do. For a couple of minutes, or minute or two, while I was sitting there talking, I can see behind me in the glass doors. So when I didn't see anything moving, I thought maybe, and I saw white. So maybe it was a cop car. So when I turned around and said, "Oh, you guys are here for me, aren't you?" A little too excited for myself to be being swatted by cops. So you know how that is. I shouldn't be. It's going to take a little while to get down the street because some guy is keeping that pace with me and he wants to hear what I'm doing, so I'm letting him walk ahead. So, you know how cars are. Oh, look at the bottom. Yeah, isn't it turning pretty? It's like totally becoming like a place to sit. And, I'm sure there's one I can sit at that'll probably look just onto the building. So, we'll see how that goes. Because then I can sit here and do my outside desk things. Because that's what I call this, my outside desk. I don't like sitting there and being stared at. Isn't that weird? And yes, I'm a little yet because I just spent an hour and a half with my dad because I do lunch with him. And when I do lunch with him, they're getting longer and longer because we're actually finding each other funnier and funnier. So, when you get older, you miss your family, and I miss my dad a lot, so. But my aim is getting better. He was not too amused with the swatting. He kept changing the subject, which doesn't mean he doesn't want to hear about it. It just means that he's bothered by it. So, military men. If we don't talk about it, it doesn't exist. So, at first I was like, oh God, he's not going to let me talk about it. And then it was like, oh wait, no, he's just not amused that it happened to me. So, I guess when I go up to them and say something, oh, there's a trash can, okay, that I'll do it from the side. What's that? Maybe they can see me. Hey, I'm close, guys. I'm really close. I like where I parked. It's sort of cool. I got to hang out with my building from closeness. Closeness? From close. This is where the brain fog hits too. It's like talking to real people, it gets sort of uncomfortable. Talking to you guys, it's a little easier. So, and I'm massively intimidated by my own brain fog. Isn't that weird? Good afternoon. Do you miss your world? Do you miss your life? Do you miss your friends and your family? Do you wish you could talk to people that weren't declared? Do you wish you could talk to people outside of here, which you can't? They tell you can, but you can't. And then you get to owe all the money that you can possibly have in the world because they're going to charge your credit cards without you looking. So you can get out now while you can and avoid the $250,000 it is to become completely enlightened. Or you can fall into their spell and buy what they're selling and keep buying it for as long as you absolutely have to, because belonging to that society means you're always spending some kind of money. Even rich people constantly spend money because they have to sponsor foundations. You guys don't have to sponsor foundations. And the latest pin and the latest newsletter and go to the latest show to watch people get these fancy medals, but you have to pay to get in too. So do you really want to spend that much money on a regular basis on something that's supposed to be something that enlightens you, not something that tears you down money-wise while it doesn't really enlighten you at all? Is that what you really want to do? It's easy if you want to stay here. Trust me. Annette Janot. Hello from Vegas. Hello from San Francisco. I wish I was in Vegas now. It's probably really nice. The only plus about Vegas is if you get not exactly smart enough to go in a cooler month, it's dry. It makes a big difference. Dry heat is a lot different than New York. So, or Miami. I've never perspired in 32-degree weather, but that was in New Orleans. Did New Year's in Miami once, and it was weirdly hot. That was not amusing. So, I'll fix all of that. National Historic Registry. Now that my anxiety for getting swatted has passed, I've been waiting, so, you know, it sort of builds up after a while. I can get down to other things. So I've been distracted because it's like, well, this is nothing like LA, that I understand, but, you know, it gets a little crazy after a while. Let's see. I should do this downwind on the corner, not blocking anybody's way. Do you miss your friends? Do you miss your family? Do you wish that you weren't going to be hocked in debt up to your nose? You do know that the word bankruptcy isn't something they like, because it has to admit that you have blown it, and they have blown it with you. That, and if the credit card companies find out, they will start cutting off Scientology and any other kind of business that they may run under, because credit agencies are rather smart. I don't have my white noise on yet, so here we go. Gotta find my white noise. Gotta find my white noise. Where's my Spotify? There's my Spotify. That's my white noise. So yeah, I've learned it's the credit thing. So I wonder if I'll get swatted again today because they think it's, you know, the credit that they are, they seem to have a problem with. So if I mention the credit, then they get weird. The two police officers were really nice yesterday, and you know, I'm sure they're asking Adam about me. So, and he's probably saying, oh my God, she's so harmless. See, that's the problem. He's known me for 30 years. So he knows that I am just a tree hugger and I don't mean anything to anybody. So they're going to have a disadvantage of that because they probably thought I was going to be a radical. So, and since they're going to have an issue about me standing here, I'm just walking by. I'll always just stand here. Soon I'll get like a table to put up, not in a walkway, maybe in the corner like right here, and get a table, have a stand, do it towards me, and have a chair. I figured out how to do that a few years ago when a friend of mine was living in Oakland, and we were going up to Lakeshore where all the cafes were, and people were doing laptop grabs. And so I figured how to do it with a bike lock. So I put it against my computer and would tie it against the table. So if anybody tried to grab the computer, it wouldn't make it off the table. Could do that with the phone too. Do you miss your friends? Do you miss your family? Do you miss that you might become bankrupt? Has that come across your head yet? Scientology won't let you become bankrupt because then they'll become a pariah to the credit agencies. And they don't want to do that because that's how they pay for everything, your credit. When was the last you checked your FICO score? How many bank accounts do you have? If you have a bank account, you can go to your local bank and find out what your FICO score is. And if you're registered online, you can do it there too for free. they'll usually do it about once every other month or once every month, because usually it's going to cost about $250,000 to become an OT8. And they're going to get that out of you any way they can. They're going to get it out of you through your credit cards. So you might want to check your credit history to see how overextended you are. So, and they're not going to help you get out of any of this. All they're going to try to do is keep you from going bankrupt or declaring bankruptcy, which is the easiest way to fix something that's messed up. It takes a few years to rebuild your credit, but you can, because you won't have these horrible debt standing over you. And you can clean up your credit and figure out how many credit cards you have, because you may have more than you think. And then you can go to college if you want to. Oakland Laney College offers free college, so you can get your associate's degree there if it's important to you. But yes, you will be giving them money all the time for everything you do, and it will not be for charitable things. These people do not believe in charity. They do not offer charity. What they offer is you giving them money. They will take money from you for every reason whatsoever. A few years ago, everybody had to buy new coursework because there were semicolons where they shouldn't have been. Obviously, Mr. Miscavige does not think you're bright enough to know where a semicolon should or shouldn't be. So, would you want to have to spend money that you don't have, that you get through a credit agency, that you can't repay probably in this lifetime, and you won't be here the next time around if there is one, to recognize that you owed this money, and it'll get passed down to your closest family to try to fix, because the credit agencies will want as much as they can possibly get from the people who owe them money, and it won't be your society, because your society will say they're dead and they're nothing to us. And speaking of that, did you know that Mr. Miscavige does not run Scientology? He has said that in court documents, not in conspiracies. Someone named William McShane runs your company. Do you know who William McShane is? Have you ever seen him live? Have you ever seen a picture of him? Do you know his biography? He's been with the society for 30 years, I think, but he is supposedly the one that's running the company. Do you guys get daily notifications from him? Because Miscavige has said that he does not run your company. So the person who takes the claim for running your company is not running your company according to legal documents. And no matter how much you don't want to deal with legal documents, you have to, because you're in the United States and you want to keep your tax exempt status. So to do that, you actually do have to answer these things, and they are not forged and they are not photoshopped. They are real. So you might want to find out what's going on with your society to see if you even belong to a legitimate society right now, because it seems like all they care about is their tax exempt status, not enlightening and giving knowledge to their own parishioners, if you want to say anything for the least. But according to history, a religion is someone who gave charity, goodwill, and would help out the poor. That's how religions began, because that's how they would convince you to belong to their religion, because they gave charity, and at the time more people were a better backup than having just a symbol to worship. So your organization doesn't do that. That's why I don't call it a religion, because they don't offer any kind of charity to anybody outside of your organization, and they barely even give charity to the people who work there. The older people are sent off to do janitorial work, so the older people don't matter in your sense. The young people are treated as adults, even though biologically their brains are not big enough to even comprehend an adult word until they're a certain age. They say the adult brain, or the brain, not the adult brain, the brain grows till it's about 25. That's a lie. 22. But for some reason, your society treats children like they're adults in little bodies, even though it would be physically impossible, because a Phaeton from another plane or lifetime takes over your body. Well, they can't do that if there's no room in the brain. So, and once you go clear, you're not clear. You get to have more Phaetons that jump on for the free ride. It's like having a human subway. because as you're walking down the street or in a building, there are thetans floating around all over the place. And so they decide to stick to you like Velcro. There are also ones that jump inside your body. So supposedly you cannot get rid of thetans until you're a higher OT status. And at OT3, you get to find out what goes on inside of the OT world, which is very, very confidential. You get to find out that there is a overlord named Xenu who brings a bunch of basically prisoners in tiny thetan form, brings them to our world thousands of years ago, which is impossible because we didn't exist, drops them into volcanoes, and then has the equivalent of a DC-8. If you've ever seen a DC-8, it's a very old airplane from about 70 years ago, and drop hydrogen bombs. Those are also an outdated bomb to deal with. And then when he did that, they exploded all over our world, and they're all just free floating around, waiting to find the human thetans so they can take them over and try to catch on like hitchhikers. And then for some reason, you're supposed to get rid of them because it's your responsibility. I didn't know being born was having a responsibility of having a bunch of invisible objects attached to your body because they're in the mood. So you never really become clear. At OT8, you never really become knowledged. They use knowledge against you because you get stuck with what's called a knowledge report, which means that as far as they're concerned, knowledge is bad. Do you really think that knowledge is bad? From what I've always heard and seen and done, knowledge is power. Ignorance is bad. You don't want to be ignorant because then people can make you do things that you wouldn't normally do as a fully functional human being. Like constantly try to sell books. Like constantly trying to sell an idea to a person so they can be giving money to you for as ever long as it takes to get where they want to be and either give up trying to get higher or leave. So I have heard people who are ex, and yes, I know they're supposed to be evil human beings, but they're not, take 10 years to get from one level to another. And during that whole time, they're paying for it because auditing costs something an hour. Being audited by a special person costs something an hour. Being audited by a child who's a teenager costs an extra something for an hour. And that's what you have to keep doing if your main person tells you you have to keep doing this. So that's why it's so expensive. $250,000 is not necessarily what everybody pays. The person next to you may pay more because they have more assets somewhere. The person on your other side may pay less because they have no assets. So, or have no credit or can't get any more credit. So they just use them as basically work. So they are just society workers, sort of like farm workers, but society workers. They're working just to get what they need to do for knowledge, but it backfires because they can't get any more knowledge if they don't have any more money. And then you have to come out here and live your life normally, which means you have to have a normal job so you can eat and have a roof over your head. And considering we are one of the most expensive places in the country, it's not an easy thing to do. So not only are you stuck with a 9-to-5 volunteer job, that also takes the sweetheart part of getting a job in an office out because you're working those office hours. You should try to get onto the foundation level. That way you can at least have an office job, make a decent amount of money, and maybe eat something other than tuna and white bread. That seems to be the cheapest thing nowadays because even McDonald's costs $20. So do you even have a bank account? Is your money safe somewhere? Do you have any money on you? Do you have enough money for a cup of coffee? I know they're $5 nowadays, but wouldn't you like to have a cup of coffee that actually tastes good and does not taste like the, I'm sure not best coffee in the world, because every office doesn't pay for good coffee. Only tech people pay for good coffee because they're the ones who started drinking it. So say, there used to be a brand called Folgers Choice, which was a freeze-dried coffee. And boy, was it nasty. Do you guys have the equivalent to that here? Because you can't even afford to get a cup of coffee on the way in, or a croissant, or an avocado toast. This is the home of it. Wouldn't you rather be doing something more fulfilling with your life and pleasing, and stop believing that you deserve everything that's happening to you, that you made yourself trip on a step this morning? No, your body made you trip on a step. Your body didn't measure the step, so it made you trip. It did not, your conscious mind did not make you trip. That's a trip. What you want to do is change your viewpoint to that you are a good person, and that with knowledge you'll be going and doing things that are positive, and you'll be helping out people, which will be making your life more positive. And you won't necessarily be depressed all the time, because there is nothing positive that is being done in your life that you appreciate. Yeah, you have to appreciate positivity. You can not like being trampled on all the time, or being told that you deserve everything you get, or being told that you sneezed and got a cold and it's your fault. It doesn't work that way. If you're positive, then you can do things you want to do, and hang out in those gardens, and hang out on the street, and watch interesting people go by because you're eating a croissant on an outside pied-à-terre. Puppy! Hello, puppy! It's a doodle of some kind. Oh, okay. I thought she was dropping things. Anyway, hi guys. Oh God, okay, I'm gonna go back so I can, because I was on a roll there, wasn't I? Let's see. What is the chalk? Oh, you can use chalk here as long as it's you can clean it off. So regular chalk is fine. I want to get spray chalk. Hi Fluffer Squirrel. What am I? Oh yay! Ooh, I have a wrench. I need your chat rules. Logically, no hate, no picking on people. You can mention your own. You can mention your own channel. Just logically be nice to people. Popsicle people story get me every time. Hi Papa Girl, I haven't seen you in ages. Hey, something while driving. Yes, listen, don't look. Hey Carrie Ann. Hi guys, everybody say hi. Hi afternoon. Hey Fluffer. Hey Papa Cat. Who was it? Is Fuzzy on here? Is my moose person on here? Because I wanted to ask her to be a mod. Ash, can you be a mod? Papa Cat should be watching because he's doing my mods for me. He paid for just OT6? Wow. He's a sucker. Yes. See it, and that Jeanette, how close is the desk to the door? Can they hear you? Actually, the whole front room is empty because it was a bank at one time. So it acoustically bounces like a mofo. That's why when I have the door cracked open, I just do a theater voice on it. And my phone, unfortunately, modulates, so it's not really coming through the phone itself. But if you get used to me, you'll know when I'm projecting. Hi MDM Media. What did I do? I'm getting bigger. Oh, it was working a minute ago. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, MDM Media. Carrie Ann says hi. Now I'm the navigator. Turn left at Lombard Street and snake down like a snake daddy. So wouldn't you be rather hanging out with your friends tonight? It is Friday. Hanging out and watching bad TV shows or good TV shows. From what I heard, Yellowstone's a really interesting show. Let me think. Wednesday, and there's a vampire show. What is that vampire show that's the front of Liz's all the time when he's talking gay? I started watching it a long time ago, but brain fog, and I don't have it down as a watch later somewhere. So if somebody can tell me So there are a lot of TV shows out there that you can watch for free on YouTube. You just have to watch commercials or Freevee. And you can sit there and read a book at the same time if you're multimedia like I am. Hang out with your friends and have bad popcorn or have good popcorn. Macaroni and cheese, whatever a comfort food you have. My comfort food personally is Hamburger Helper, but with ground chicken. You can tell I come from California. Wouldn't you rather be doing that? Oh, somebody grabbed the door. Bummer. Well, I got swatted yesterday when I was talking about credit cards. So I figure that they don't like me talking about credit. And Natalie, I think it was Natalie, contributed to this morning and said they don't like people going bankrupt because there's at least one credit card company that won't deal with Scientology because they were getting shorthanded because you overextend somebody and they can't pay you back. So, no, not Interview with the Vampire. No, it's a TV show about vampires that live, I can't remember where, but they're actually like helped by a Renfield type, and I think he's Asian. And they're more like regular sized vampires instead of the skinny, super skinny Brad Pitt ones. And that's the thing that sucks. I can't watch Interview with the Vampire. I love that friggin' movie and I can't watch it because of Butthead on it. Oh, see, I'm trying to figure out how to change the color. Yes, thank you. Carrie Ann can mod. Is he on here? Is he on here? Ooh, oh yeah. Meow, Carrie Ann can mod. And yeah, I made Fluffer Squirrel do it. But then again, I'm a proponent of the reason they don't want to. So I'm trying to. A friend of mine actually was so bad that she couldn't read and she was highly intelligent. So that's why I'm like, that's nice. You're going to do it for me anyway. Oh, Interview is a show now. Oh, so that's the name. Cool. Yeah, two of my favorite movies of all time are Interview and Top Gun. I actually saw Top Gun because it came out when I was 15 years old, 14 times in the theater. Thank you. It was so weird. I thought it was so neat. And I've got to listen to it tonight because me talking to the cops is just classic. But yeah, Top Gun. So I can't even go near Top Gun because mine wasn't necessarily for Tom Cruise. I was 14 or 15. It was Val Kilmer. And so if you know Val Kilmer when he was younger, real genius, great movie. Smart People on Ice. Okay, that's the best thing in the world. But yeah, it just ticks me off. It's like Woody Allen. I have to wait till he dies before I can watch the movies again. So, how often do you have to audit? How often can you afford to audit? Is it something that you think you even need? When you get better and higher up there, you can self-audit. That would actually be a lot cheaper, except those auditing machines are very expensive. And like I said before, there are credit card companies who won't take any subscriptions to them because they don't deal with Scientology anymore because they have been getting the short end of the stick. Because even to take your money from the credit card company to a credit agency, they still have to take a cut. So, door closed. Okay, let's see. Yay! I was telling my dad about you, Carrie Ann, because you're up there. I still haven't told him, though, that I may at least go up there with him this summer. Not stick around, but go up. Because I was telling them that you were not my aunt. And that you reminded me of that aunt. So, what is it with you people in Portland? Didn't even know what the heck Portland was before I was 5. Isn't that logical? So yes, I was watching Natalie because she's the first thing I watch every day. Well, I try to chug coffee, my one coffee a day. And then I have a superfood. In my old age, I was not like this when I was younger. My old age, I'm turning into a Californian. And I went to have lunch with my dad, and we laughed our butts off for an hour and a half, which is hilarious because him and I are like me and my brother. We start talking, and it's just like, vroom. Papa Cat just sits there and watches us like we're a TV show. So realized it was an hour and a half, and I'm like, this is the day I'm supposed to be here early, and I'm not. So, but now also, you know, it's like in a weird way, screaming from the or projecting from the gate is a good thing because I can hit the sides as well as I can hit the top of the cupola. So, I mean, I can aim for it, sure, but I can also bounce in to where the door is. So, you know, acoustics 101. And since all of this is like nice wood and limestone and everything else, it's not going to absorb it like plywood does. That's what I always think plywood does, is absorb it. So, yes, and I'm still trying to figure out how to do the letters. Look at all that needs to be fixed. Look at that. Oh my God. What a horrible like grout job there too. Ooh, they're not going to like it. Ooh, yeah, you don't want to rot. If anybody who's watching me is watching me to get the blue after me, look at that and see that's rot, and you better have this fixed before your next inspection, because people are getting a lot more into the saving of old buildings. So, you know, because the invisible crowd, my crowd, need to have something to do because they never really like latched on to anything, and the things they latched onto when they were younger are now needed. Sorry, I thought that was a hook and ladder. Now need something to do, so that's why they join historical societies and things like that. Besides, we're all starting to also appreciate the older buildings, so they should probably start taking care of these better. I'm sure they can have it like this, but I don't think for a long period of time. And this one is actually starting to corrode, which is bad in San Francisco because we are saltwater. So that one is actually longer than probably the distance between the times. They're probably told to fix that before, and then they didn't. Because I know they all have to do it out of their own money here, and they can't be making a ton of money, and they have a very expensive building to take care of. So, I have the white noise for your song. So I will not be hearing your song, and nobody here will be hearing your song. Ooh, and there's a nice big seam right here. How much do you owe on the outside world? I know you don't owe anything to Scientology because they make sure that you are very much up to what you owe them plus, because you have to buy your courses in advance. And if I was you, I would only do one course in advance, because if you ever leave, they will keep that, because they put a nice little loophole that says that you have to come on campus to get it, but you can't come on campus because you're declared. Ooh, I bet you that a law assistant can probably circumvent that and get your money back. There's got to be a way to do it nowadays, because nobody's allowed to keep money for free. So even though you guys try on a regular basis, that I'm sure, you know, eventually you're going to have all those buildings inspectors like they did back east. They took away the tax status for that building that you abandoned. So it is possible to do that, and with what's going on in LA right now in court, or is it Florida? Well, with the latest law action that's going on, you may be losing more status. So you might want to, you know, get a little bit nicer, because you never, never, never catch bees with vinegar. Just remember that. And none of this is being played on my stream, because my white noise, who I was taught by Jess Palmessa, that it works better than turning on the mute. So they can hear me, but they can't hear you. I'm sorry. And maybe you should update the song because it sounds like Richard Marx from the 80s. Oh my God, that'll put anybody to sleep. No wonder you turn it down when I walk away. That's just funny right there. Pack of 5. Oh, I know, but I want that spray paint. You know how groomers are more expensive here, Jen? Why are you talking about groomers? Oh, groomers. Oh, pup groomer. Yes, I know. When we finally get a dog, luckily enough, I have very clean cats. The white cat was the only one who ever went to the groomer on a regular basis because she was white. So the other ones, I just started brushing them when they were babies and they put up with it. And Norwegian's actually rather clean, which is really nice. I think I've only had to clean her bottom once. So, and she's 7. So I've been really lucky that they like me brushing her. And the Norwegian doesn't even have mats. I caught one, but that was because I was getting over the last one who passed. That was about a month ago. And that's, I think I even was like, oh my God, she's got a mat. Sort of like when the cops came, you know, I was very excited. So, but she let me get her pants last night, so I'm very happy. And she lets me do it with the comb too. That girl is sadistic, or no, masochistic. So, and we're walking back. Maybe I should tap dance on that damn thing. I can't get in trouble if it gets scuffed. You know, that horrible thing that's right there. So, and if I'm not blocking, I also just need to be like 15 feet away from the entrance. So I can literally be up and down. Did you know that the cross with your emblems is blasphemy towards the Christian church? Because it is a Christian symbol that was started by them. Crucifixions were also done on up and down sticks. So what you're doing is a cultural appropriation of a religious symbol that has nothing to do with you. So because it's about crucifixion, that's supposedly what your symbol is too. But since you don't believe in Jesus, it's not Jesus's crucifixion. So the cross may have been a myth started because religions wanted a symbol that they could identify their people with. Sort of like the fish. And no, I'm not religious. So isn't it amazing how much you can find out from things when you're really not paying attention? So you might want to change that cross to a stick, because otherwise people are going to start calling you a Christian church. And I thought you didn't believe in God or Jesus. I thought the closest thing you had to a, oh God, what is it? Gospel saint is LRH, who died of a stroke. He didn't leave his body left him, and he took a lot of opiates. And he was convicted of fraud in France and basically was hiding out the last part of his life because he was being chased after by our government. Our government would be bad for that. You wouldn't necessarily want our government not to exist here, because then it would be a country run by very, very rich people, and you guys probably wouldn't exist then either. And you know why you're not in the media? Because you're not important. You know why we're not in the media? Because we're not important. We are a tip of a huge iceberg, but we're not the iceberg. So we're not very interesting. So we can fight amongst ourselves, but also we can also do things that we should, like follow what the government tells us, so we can revoke your tax exempt status, so you can start releasing buildings you're not using or buildings you'll never use, and they can be used for something different, like maybe selling the property and using the money as for a charitable organization. And if you've ever had too much of this and you want to go, if you wind up hiding behind my car, I understand, but you will have to answer a couple of questions to make sure you're real. We have this down by rote. And then I will take you and we will go get you help. But if you want to leave, you can always call 727-266-5797 or go on the internet at the main library, which is within walking distance, and you can use the web browsers there. Just clear the history. You ask a librarian, I bet you they can help you. To the sptvfoundation.org or sptvfoundation.com. They will be able to help to get you out of here. They will be able to help you once you're out of here and be able to help you get back on your feet. You know how to do everything because you've been taught how to lift your own bootstraps. It's actually probably easier here because there aren't people following you around, making sure you're not saying the wrong thing or asking the wrong question. If you really want to know what's going on in your society, ask questions and see how many times you get in trouble for it. They don't want you asking questions. They want you being good robots and doing what they want you to do, which is make them money. You might get enlightened, but it's doubtful. You might be completely let down because you never got enlightened, which is possible. You may find out that you don't believe in enlightenment anymore, which is fine. Then you can just leave anyway. A freeloader debt is not enforceable. I think 2 cop cars just like cruised by. They're not coming here at all. But I want to see where they're going. I don't know. I'm still not blocking the doorway. I'm sorry that you're stuck in there if you don't want to be. I'm sorry you can't figure out a way to get out. But if you call 727-266-5797, I'm sure they can help you. And if you don't have a phone that can make that phone call without being monitored, I'm sure you can ask somebody and they'll do it for you. You can always go to a library, write a letter and send it in mail. They might still have general pickup. You can take a look at that. It's the old days, and also for people who don't stay in one place, it's called general pickup, so you can pick it up at the post office. There are ways to get around this to where you can communicate with people that are important to you. So you can start getting the help you need to get out of here because you don't want to be here anymore. Trust your instincts and go with them. If there's even just a little bit of like a knock on the back of your head going, this isn't right. It isn't, and you need to leave. Should follow your whole life that way. That way, you'll know you'll be really doing what you really need for yourself. And that's what you should be doing. It's the Cisco truck that passes by every day. He now makes noise. Okay, all you guys are saying hi to each other. Oh, if somebody's secretly trying to say hi, they're not. I'm learning about that. I was watching a video this morning. Oh God, don't even go into nails, Katie. Or Carrie. Oh no, don't even go to nails. We're not even going to go how much these Japanese gel sparkly things are. It's like, that's also why I want to start like talking about my cash apps and my memberships is for the is it to the mailing and shipping of my car and me here every day. So I cannot feel guilty about getting my nails done. I am a meowing commodity. Meow, meow, meow. Let's see. Let's go walk in the back again. They definitely don't like me talking about credit in the back. That's for sure. But yeah, that's when I got the cops yesterday. So I have a feeling that's me talking about getting out and getting help and community colleges and things, which is the truth. Oakland has a really good community college, lady college, and you can get your associates for free. They give free college right now. I'm not sure who else. We had a pretty big community college conglomeration for years, but I haven't, I think somebody's taking a picture of me, but I haven't had the chance to really go into it because, you know, I settled with my, you know, I don't have a GED, and isn't that nice? But I guess I'm one of your classic hyper-intelligent kids who said, screw you, don't respect my brain, I don't want to be here anymore. See, kids don't know what they're doing. So, let's see, time to play with credit. If you ever want to leave and you can't afford it, call 727-266-5797. The SPTVFoundation.org will be able to help you get out and get on your feet. With everything you do know, it will be very easy to come out here and get on your feet because you have been made to do things and made to follow rules that are infinitely harder than they are out here. So with your organizational skills and your office skills and your selling skills, you can come out into the real world and become part of it and have a real life. Hell, if you're a really good salesman, you've got it made because it's the one thing that is very well wanted out here are salesmen. So, and then you could be selling something that's relatively real instead of a dogma that's 70 years old. Is that what you want to do with your life? You're not going to be enlightened. You're just going to be selling stuff till you're not useful anymore. And then after that, they'll just put you in an org somewhere, sweeping and mopping. There are pictures of Austin org with people in the background who are older that obviously they don't have a use for anymore, and they're having them do light janitorial work. Is that what you really want to do when you're an elder? Is that what you want to do when you're old enough to have grandchildren and have them appreciate you for the things you know in your history? Is that what you really want? Probably.
I'm going to Dollar Tree to eat some snacks.
I love this. It's like my own picnic. So I'm sort of thinking about it when I see you guys. We've got Fluffer, we've got Carrie Ann, we've got Pup Groomer, we've got Fuzzy Pig Handcuffs. Let's see, who else? Who's my normals? Ashley now is watching me. A friend of mine will be watching me because I'm making her a mod. And she's going to be my graphic designer, so she thought it was hilariously funny when I said, I want brains over the Bay Bridge and I want one with salsa on it. She's like, fine. I've known her forever too, so she's like, of course you do, dear. That's the way my world works. Nothing really shocks my friends because I belong to a weird set of friends as it is, and I'm just slightly weirder. So it's like, it could have been used for something like indecent, like, you know, it could have been a dungeon master or something, but no, I have to be the one who wanted to write a book, or, you know, the joke when I was 22 was start my own religion, or, you know, counsel people because I don't like seeing people in pain and hurt, even though I classically suffer from all of those things. You know, just got out of a depression that I didn't know I had. Those things suck. So, don't you wish you had more than maybe a couple of dollars in your wallet? Don't you wish you had a couple of dollars in your wallet? The only thing you have in your wallet are your transit cards, so you can get over here. How do they keep you guys fed if you can't afford it? What if you don't have a job that's good for you? What if you don't have a job that pays a lot of money? What if you have a job that barely pays a roof over your head and, I don't know, a granola bar to keep you going every day? This is not the way you'd ever want to go on a diet. So you would want to leave there and get a real job and have a real life, become a public Scientologist if you need to, and then eventually realize that this is not something you need to belong to because it's all based on what you can afford. And do you really want to base your existence and enlightenment on what you can afford? That sounds a little weird. Your wellness and your knowledge and Your happiness should not be based on what you can afford or what level of knowledge in this one society will give you. Your knowledge, your own knowledge should be enough. Looking at your own self in the mirror for real, something called a cognitive mind, that's a lot of hooey. All you really need to do is come face to face with yourself and see what you like and you don't like. See what your fears are, and if you think they're valid for real, not just because you're paranoid. Most people can figure that out if they're paranoid or not, just because it's something you think you should be. And then just become yourself and work on yourself out here. You shouldn't be selling books. You shouldn't be buying coursework where it really doesn't tell you anything, and you can't really ask questions about it, because then you get a knowledge report, and that should tell you something. If something that's bad for you is called a knowledge report, that's not necessarily where you want to be. You don't want to be in a society that gets you in trouble for trying to be smart. That isn't a society. That's a cult. That's a real, honest-to-God cult. And your cult leader is doing what every cult leader does, which is living high on the hog and having his own dogma and replacing everybody else's dogma with his own, because his ego is beyond dimension. So is that the way you want to be? Do you all want to be worshiping this one person when you don't even know you're worshiping him? Isn't that creepy? That's not enlightenment. That's a cult. And a cult is not good for you, because you don't know the difference between then the real world and what this alternate world is offering you that doesn't put you anywhere in a positive place. What happens if Miscavige gets in trouble? He's going to leave you all in a hot second and go to another country, or do like LRH did and go cruising around in his boat and only staying at places where he wasn't going to get in trouble. Maybe they should think about that too. LRH avoided governments and avoided law, which is not something you should do on a regular basis unless you have your own sovereign country. You don't have a sovereign boat, you have a sovereign country. So if you don't have your own sovereign country, you should go by the laws of the land. Go by what their governments run. Yeah, unfortunately, if it's North Korea and China, sorry, but you should do that so you don't run into their consequences. And this is one country you definitely can't change, because they work their butts off to keep it. So if you don't like it, maybe the whole conglomeration of you need to get on a really big ship and go find somewhere else. But it's not changing the laws here. It's making the laws to suit what you want, which isn't very healthy and which isn't right. And you should be helping other people with that excess money you have laying around, instead of taking advantage of the fact that you're a tax exempt status, because supposedly you're a church. But I don't think there are any churches out there who treat children like adults and don't really take care of them and don't really foster their evolution as a child to an adult, and then wonder why all of their adults who are born in Scientology are very messed up because they don't understand the real world. Because you have to live in it somehow. You have to live in the real world to walk to your car, or the bus, or the garage that your car is in, or the bicycle. So it's like, if you don't acknowledge that and respect that, how would you expect anybody to respect you? If you're taking advantage of companies that are private, of areas, of buildings that are important to this country's world, and you're not respecting these things, then it is something you're doing wrong. It is not something that the outside world is doing wrong, because they're going by what the law of their land says. So if you're not doing that and you're promoting not doing that, you're basically breaking the law. And that's not healthy. And you can do something as simple as cashing in those buildings and helping people and feeding poor women and children and providing vocational services. You know, if you did that, maybe people would leave you alone. And if you took care of the fact that you didn't put kids into your society as working models, then maybe we would leave you alone, and then you could take care of it. and do what you need to do with the people who are violating the laws of the land. That's not hard to do, and that is a really easy way to get us all off of your surroundings. And it's probably something that's a plus to do nowadays, because there isn't a lot of help out there. There isn't enough to help to provide to everybody. Do you really want to be a closed-in culture where many people think you're elitist and not exactly accepting of the people around you? You are a block away from Chinatown, and Western Addition is half a block or half a mile away from you. Having more of an inclusive world around you would be a good thing, especially in the Bay Area. We have been very integrated, at least in San Francisco to Oakland, for a very long time. And you would help people, and it would probably help your society to do that. But if you don't do that, and whatever I said just did not make any sense to you, you should call 727-266-5797. If you're feeling like you're doing the wrong thing by what I said, then you should go to the sptvfoundation.org. And if you're feeling like you're being a bad person by not doing these bad things, you should go to sptvfoundation.com and start processing yourself out of this basically elitist club, because it's not healthy to think that way. Humans don't function being a bunch of elitists. Humans function by helping each other, even if it's in the smallest way. It's just something to think about. And maybe you have a stuffed moose at home that'll miss you. Wouldn't you like to see it? The wind does what? Oh yes, the wind does that, because they can't mess with the doors at all. So the back doors also have a crack in them. So the back doors throws the wind. And usually when the door's cracked enough, I'll start talking about something that really bugs them. So, okay, I am done. That last one was pretty darn deep. Sometimes when I catch on to things like that, I'm like, wow, that made me tired. So 57 minutes, and it's a Friday, and I can't change the date with my dad, and I enjoy it too much, so I'm actually building my own, I'm making my own hole for getting out of here, back to the other side of the bay in rush hour. And I took the wrong car again. So anyway, guys, oh wait, I've talked about moose. I've asked people for mods, and I haven't shown you guys my pyramid. And I was telling Papa Cat last night, because he said, did you say something about moose and squirrel? See where the thing jets out? It jets out on the other side, and so it's like I want a big moose and a big squirrel on it. So, and maybe a Boris Badenoff on the top. What is it? It is, what is the cartoon? So people can find it on YouTube. Rocky and Bullwinkle. Yes, I did enjoy that time. Him and I are hilarious. I got his sense of humor. So I've got a Portland sense of humor. Go look it up, people. They're weirdos. So, okay. So I'm on my way home. I will talk to all you guys. I did. Moose, moose, moose. I want to put a moose on the pyramid. I want to put a moose on the pyramid on one side and a squirrel on the other. So, because that's the way it should go. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later. I will see you tomorrow, or see you. You will see my neighborhood, you will see my surroundings tomorrow. And we'll try to be on here, I don't know when. Maybe we should look at a schedule. During the usual time, between 1 and 3. So, I will talk to you all later. Love you all. Have a good night. Don't do anything destructive. It's not healthy. Bye.